YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here yet again. We got some NFL action for you guys today. Join as always, Stu. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got a good slate this weekend, obviously. A lot of good action to talk about. I mean, I just got my ass kicked yesterday on Thursday Night Football, so that wasn't so good. But hey, looking forward to bounce back here a little bit.
Yeah, it was a weird game. We watched a little bit of it, along with the Brewers and stuff was on down here. So it was cool to watch. In a different country, and we get to kind of check that out. But so yeah, it's gonna be a little quicker for me today, unfortunately. But we have got a wedding here in a couple hours, so I got to make sure I get this in quick. It's gonna be a quick one. Let's get a quick recap here going from the show. Obviously, I know yours cashed, mine did not. We have Lawrence cashing. He crushed his rushing prop. Anything you want to talk about from that one?
Yeah, no, it's just good to have one go as planned. We went over in like the first, one or two drives of the game, something like that. So it was nice and easy. Obviously, shout out to Trevor Lawrence there.
Yeah, and Pacheco got on his first carry, and I think he carried the ball how many times did he carry the ball? Like 6 times, something like that?
Yeah.
It was so dumb, bro. It was so dumb. I ended up losing that one for that. But, we will get things rolling here for today. Let's just talk a big screen game here first, Stu, and then we can get it rolling into dogs and some plays.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good action this weekend, honestly. I think for me, I'm kind of hyped for that Chargers-Dolphins game. We get a little bit of that quarterback draft rivalry that everyone was, arguing about back in the day. It's going to be Tua, tank for Tua, back when that was a big thing, obviously. And then Herbert, they're always going to be kind of linked to each other in some way or another. And honestly, I mean, the Chargers are in a rough spot. They have a pretty bad offensive line right now. I'm not quite sure how they're going to adjust to that, but I think that should be a pretty good game. Definitely big screen worthy.
Yeah, I have a couple that I like. It's weird. We have another London game, right? We have 2 Monday night games. So it makes it a little bit more interesting for me. Obviously, I think just for us, that Seahawks Jaguars game for both of our sakes of having future bets on both teams. One of them got to lose, obviously, but yeah, I think this is going to be one that I'm excited to watch as a fan, just because Seattle's been 2 or 3 plays away from being undefeated. Man, it's been that close. Obviously the interception in the end zone, the dropped pick, and then the pick last week off a guy's helmet, right away from being an undefeated team. Pretty wild, man, and I'm excited to watch that one for sure when I get back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's like both of our teams kind of going against each other there, honestly. Maybe I'll put a little Seahawks. It's just like a moral hedge there, mental hedge, or whatever you want to call it, just to get a little bit in case they do lose that one. But yeah, no, that should be a great game, honestly. I'm definitely hyped for that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, dog of the week quickly for us. Stu, we are continuing to roll here, dude. Our dogs of the week have been hitting it. We are 7-3. These are last week's. I don't have this week's up yet, but 7-3 on the season so far. Where are you going for dog of the week this week? With a little lighter slate,
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go the 49ers. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go 3.5. It was between that and the Titans, and I said it last week, guys. I can't do the Titans. So I'm gonna put that out of my head. I'm gonna pretend the Titans don't exist, and I'm gonna take the Niners. I like the hook. I like that you're getting the 3.5. I don't think Brock Purdy's playing. Honestly, I've been saying it the whole time. I don't think the gap is that big between Mac Jones and him. And I feel like Mac Jones keeps proving that. Like, he's coming out, that primetime win against the Rams looked very good. And the Bucs are kind of a team coming off a high. We just saw them look awesome on offense. A lot of production there, but they did beat up on a very banged up defense in Seattle. On the other side, we got a 49ers team that's finally getting a little bit healthier here, right? Especially on the defensive side of the ball, getting a safety back, which is big. So, yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be an ugly game. And I think the 49ers can keep it within a field goal. They make everything an ugly game. I love Saleh being the DC back over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions here. They're just playing really good, man. I don't want to get in front of that freight train. Obviously, I know it's in Arrowhead, 2.5. I'm getting 2.5 points. I feel like that's I mean, honestly, I think the Lions are a better team at this point than the Chiefs. So it's pretty much how many points you give Arrowhead, right? How many points you give them for being at home. And I just think they got too many weapons here, dude. Coming off, I mean, they're not really traveling too much. Obviously, we're in Cincinnati last week, right? You know, to go Kansas City here, I'm gonna roll with them, dude. I just think that they're too talented. They're gonna kind of run these dudes out.
Okay. Also, the chat is reporting Mac Jones might not play, which is interesting. This is the only game with no props. So I haven't really looked that closely. Adrian Martinez would be real bad, okay? If Adrian Martinez is starting, I'd like to retroactively take whatever my number is now and change it to +10. Because that might be what it is if he's out there. Adrian Martinez sucks, unfortunately. They might just try to run the ball 100 times. I'd assume that would be the game plan. But, yeah, I will say I would be cautious until we know who's the quarterback. Because if it's not Mac Jones, it can't be Martinez. That would be really bad. I don't think he can start an NFL game right now. He's like a CFL kind of quarterback. So, yeah, that is concerning right there. I would definitely probably wait for some clarity in the quarterback room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think we got some good spots. Obviously, we can switch that up. Obviously, if that comes up, you know, we're not locked in, you know, to the death, you know, on that. So we got 25 of you guys in here. We appreciate you guys jumping with us on this quick one today. Like I said, we're gonna have to be out of here a little bit quicker than our normal show. But I'll kick it over to you, Stu. You can take us away, and we'll get these two in, and we'll get out of here.
Sounds good. We're going Ashton Genty over 73.5 rushing yards, -115. This one's on FanDuel, DraftKings, pretty much all over the place. Genty has been an interesting guy. He's very talked about in the media so far this year. He's been a guy that, you know, had a lot of expectations being a first-round running back, what he did in college last season, just being so dominant. But he's had a couple problems. And one of the big ones is that this Raiders team, their offensive line is really bad. It's like bottom tier, one of the worst in the NFL bad. And it's really disrupting their offense. They don't look comfortable passing the ball. They don't look comfortable running the ball. It's been a shit show so far this year. And what that means is they're not really in situations where they can run the ball very comfortably because one, Genty's just being hit behind the line of scrimmage at extremely high rate. He's having trouble breaking off these long runs that we know he's capable of. They're just not in good positions to run the ball. And generally, when you can't get anything going on offense, you fall behind, you start losing, and then you have to throw the ball. And this is a rare game where they're actually favorites. They're actually pretty big favorites against a Titans team that has been awful in the Callahan era. I mean, just their one win was the flukiest win. One of the flukiest wins I've ever seen before last week against the Cardinals, obviously. So it's just one of those situations where they're finally going to be in a game where they can actually execute their game plan. When you're falling behind every week, forced to throw the ball, you can actually execute your game plan. But when you're 4-point favorites against arguably the worst team in football, okay, that's when you can actually start to run the ball a little bit more. That's when you can actually get into a rhythm, get into a flow. And I think that's when Genty starts to take over a little bit more. We've only seen him really against one top or bottom 10 rush defense so far. It was against the Bears, and he put up 130 on them. This is another bottom 10 rush defense right here. I just have a lot of confidence. He's looked good. He's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage a lot, but he still has a 17% broken tackle rate, 20% elusiveness rating so far. Like he's making people miss. He's breaking tackles, and he goes against a lower level defensive line that I think should actually lead to some good opportunities. So I'm a Genty fan. I think he's been hated on a little bit too much here in the media. And I think now that he gets a team that I don't think they put up the biggest fight, I think they're not going to be able to knock you off your run-heavy game plan. I think that's when he finally has one of those 100-plus yard games. So back in Genty, I think he gets 20 carries in this one.
Yeah, no, obviously I think Genty's a monster, bro. I'm always pissed, you know, that people are talking smack on him, but it's like Geno's throwing 3 picks a game on the road, like you're behind. And I mean, props to them, they still force feed the dude. They still force feed him even when they're losing, which is kind of wild. So yeah, obviously I'm a fan of Genty. Just with Geno, we picked Geno on the right year, I guess, right? Because this year's not been good. Who's a backup there?
Is it still one of those Aiden O'Connell like kind of guys?
Oh,
but yeah, no, it's the O-line, dude. It's the O-line. Colton Miller was like their best guy left. He got injured. He's on IR. Like they literally have a bottom tier O-line. It's hard to blame Geno that much in my opinion. I know he's been bad, but like he has no time whatsoever to throw.
No, for sure. I think I'm going to be a lame here, and I'm going to roll with one of my boys, and that's going to be Josh Jacobs here in this matchup against Cincinnati. This is just a tough spot for the Bengals, dude. The Packers coming off a bye, LaFleur obviously coming off of a game that you would hope to get the job done. You get a tie. I think they're going back to the drawing board and like what is going to make us the best team here. We get a week off, and Jacobs had 22 carries in that last game, I think he had 4 receptions in that game as well. So I don't think this is a game where you start trying to get cute and do passes to the running back. I think it's just give Josh Jacobs the ball, let him run between the tackles. I looked at his rush attempts as well. It's like 18.5. I like that number as well, but I just think this is a spot where if I'm getting 20 carries for Jacobs in this spot, the Bengals, I believe, are allowing the 4th or 5th most rushing yards per game at 132. I can't see Emmanuel Wilson being in this game unless we're up 3 touchdowns. And do I see that happening? I could, but if it's there, I believe it's probably mostly because Josh Jacobs got them there. Coming off a bye week as well. He's already got 80 carries, guys, in 5 weeks. That is, or 4 weeks, actually. I think it's 4 weeks, obviously, we had just said that we had the bye. So in 4 weeks, he has 80 carries. This dude is an absolute workhorse. I think this is a game where we see that yards per attempt at 3.3 move up a little bit, and this Bengals defense just kind of gets a little bit more shredded towards the 3rd, 4th quarter, kind of more wearing on you like the Derrick Henry style of running, which Jacobs definitely can implement on you.
Yeah, and I mean, fresh Josh Jacobs off a bye week is definitely no one you really want to mess with, right? He wasn't necessarily as explosive to start the year, but it was getting better and better. And now he gets a week to rest. Obviously, the O-line gets a week to rest. And yeah, they should be able to just bully them in the trenches. I mean, obviously, Cincinnati has really nothing going on the defensive line. So yeah, big fan of Josh Jacobs. People always want the backups to come in and play, but it never really happens. I think Jacobs probably goes over 100 here.
Yeah, I was surprised to see a 78.5 at that price. I think obviously it moves up throughout the week. Yeah, I think the attempts is just up there as well with me. Like I like both quite a bit. It's just I don't know. The big plays are coming soon. Like Jacobs really hasn't had those super explosive runs yet. He's not really the guy who's going to do that often, but even like the 20-yard runs really haven't been there that much outside of the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, he had a 20-yard carry, but even Washington kept him, I think, to a long of 10. Detroit had a long of 15, but, he's making 30, 35-yard catches, right? Which I'm hoping that in a game like this, you don't really have to be that cute. We can come up with a little bit more, trickery plays on some spots. But with a guy like Jacob, I think it's just, give the workhorse the ball and let's make something happen.
I agree. I like the spot.
Beautiful. I think let me look in the chat here. We have a couple things here in the chat. I might be able to actually stay on here a little bit longer. I think we're moving other places here. Jake bringing up the game yesterday. Yeah, that was a crazy game, man. I only got to watch like an inning, unfortunately, which sucked. But hey, I'm actually kind of happy that I get to watch the next one. I think we have another. We're flying back tonight and have another wedding on Saturday. And that's going to be the same time as that game. And the guy who's, I'm pretty sure, the best man in that wedding is like a huge Cubs fan, and everybody else is a Brewers fan. So we might throw him off a building or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens on that because it's probably going to be crazy out there. So
some good trash talk, though, for sure.
Yeah, there's trash talk, and then he takes it like 3 steps past trash talk. Like, he just won't stop, and no one can say a word because he just doesn't stop talking about it. So it's like, damn. Do we think Waddle will have a good game without Tyreek? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look at the Dolphins game at all. I don't even know who they're playing this week. Who do they have, Stu?
Chargers. Yeah, I mean, it's solid. I don't know. I think he showed last week like the usage was really good when he was a wide receiver 1. So I don't mind that at all. The Chargers defense is pretty good. It's kind of been down recently, but mostly because their offense has like not really bailed them out a lot, so they've been on the field a lot. And they obviously lost some pass rush as well. They just traded for the Ravens pass rusher as well, which should be interesting. But yeah, overall, I would lean over. I think Waddle, is the primary target. The guy I kind of want to bet though is fucking Darren Waller again. Man, they love throwing the ball to him. Like he doesn't even play that much, and once he's out there, they throw it to him immediately. So only problem is I don't really like tight ends against the Chargers. Derwin James is good, but they still might just keep forcing Darren Waller the ball. So I don't know. Might have to run that back.
Yeah, the tough part is Waller had a big game already. If it would have been a little bit later, like if it would have been like only one big game, he's had two pretty good games in a row. So it's like, okay, now you almost have to force Derwin James on him. Like if it was just like one fluke game of the four, then maybe they move James around a little bit. Then I think that you maybe might get away with him having to cover somebody else, because I think they still got Jonnu Smith over there yet too, don't they? On this team, so
no, he's on the Steelers. He's on the Steelers.
Who am I thinking of? There's one other guy
that what's his name, Julian Hill or whatever. I don't know. Like,
I don't remember.
Malik Washington is the new
Malik
guy.
Washington's my guy, bro. I got so much in best ball. I just need him to get some fucking big plays. Yeah, he's been kind of limited. If they could give me some punt return yards, I would love that. Give me some punt return yardage there. Blue bringing up, is the Jags defense overrated because of the weak teams they're playing, or are they legit? Wondering if Darnold balls up against them. I do like JSN again this week. I'm going to go back to him in some capacity. There's just not that many props out right now on the guys that I want. I talked to Stu already about Trey McBride. I want to bet him. Obviously, we have news up there as well. So it's like, that's kind of the tough part about, these injuries. They don't even put any props out for some of these teams. Any thoughts here on the Jags question?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I came in here and said in our primetime game preview against the Chiefs, is that I thought their defense was overrated. And I feel like I was kind of vindicated on that one. And the one part that kind of held up, I guess, except for that one or two big runs, was the rush defense. And it's because you're going against a shit rushing team. So honestly, I think Darnold will keep looking good. He kind of proved himself last week. I don't know why he would really take a step back. The O-line is not great, but they're doing good enough to keep him up, and he's playing at a really high level. So, yeah, I think he continues to look good, honestly.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I've been trying to play as much Darnold as I can whenever I get some DFS lamps with, chalk on some of these big games with like 48 totals. Because the Seahawks have a good enough defense that they're sitting at like those 44 to 45 totals usually. No one wants to go to those games. I'm more than content. I'm going there. I'm curious how Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet do against that run defense. Maybe with, like you talked about, taking a step back defensively for the Jaguars. We've seen both those guys get theirs. It's just I want to see a couple more explosive plays. Kenneth Walker's good for a 20-yard run every game, bro. Like that dude is good. I'd have to look at his longest rush. It's probably like ridiculous, but he's only getting like 10 carries. Like that's the crappy part.
Yeah, I can check if they have that up because I completely agree with the logic. It's 13.5, so pretty reasonable.
Oof. That's not that bad, actually.
Yeah, but his regular line's only 50 as well, which I don't even mind the over on, just because he's been clearly the better running back. So I don't know. He looks good out there.
Yes, sir. Let's get a quick recap here. If anybody has any other questions, drop them in there, and I'll kick it over to you, sir.
Sounds good. We got Ashton Genty over 73.5 rushing yards, minus 114. FanDuel, DraftKings, all those. Played up to, 77.5.
Awesome. I'll be rolling with Josh Jacobs over 78.5 rushing yards at minus 110. Keeping this one short and sweet this week. So do you have any long shots you want to talk before we get out of here today?
I'll just shout out the same one I shout out every week. Darnell Washington, anytime touchdown. I couldn't shout it out last week because let's see, they run by. But now I can again. The 6'7" tight end in Pittsburgh. I'll play his actual number if they post yards as well. I'm trying to find the best price right now. But yeah, Darnell Washington. Your guys' Rivers actually have the best at 1050, but we'll say 900 at MGM is the best right now. Plus 900, Darnell Washington. Guys, I'm going to play every single week. I believe he will get in there for us sooner rather than later. They love him in these red zone packages. He's the best blocker. We're seeing less Pat Freiermuth. We're even seeing less Jonnu Smith. So yeah, I just assume Washington's going to get in there pretty soon. The guy's huge. The only problem is DK might get one too. I think DK has a good game, but that's the one I want to shout out. I don't really have much locked and loaded right now. Still kind of early, but I do always want to shout out my boy Darnell Washington because he's a menace out there, a great blocker, playing more and more every week. And he shouldn't be like 10-1. You know what I mean? He should be like 5-1. So as long as they keep giving us these prices, I just want to shout it out. Every single week, he's one of my go-to guys.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, I've only looked at a couple games. Obviously, I'm pretty kind of busy this week, but my thing is how do I not just – I might just ladder up attempts on DraftKings for Jacobs. Because I remember after the bye last year, they played the Bears, and the Bears played really well in that game. It was at Soldier Field. He had 18 carries in that game, but it was they were behind for that whole game, and they were still feeding him the ball. He had 18 carries, 5 catches. This is a spot where obviously the Bengals are playing with nothing. They're starting Flacco. We just saw Flacco with the Browns a couple weeks ago, and they beat them. So I think they're coming out here for blood in Lambeau too. Just kind of feels like I could see him in that 25 carry. I could see them having like almost 50-50 split of pass rush. And I could see him 25, 125, and 2 touchdowns. Like that kind of could feel like this type of game where it's just like, okay, well, let's just kind of beat these guys submission, move on to the next one, and just get the job done. Because it kind of feels like, obviously the Browns are significantly better than the Bengals in terms of defensive wise. And especially run defense. So I think this is a game where really the only guy you're worried about defensively is Hendrickson. And if you're just running the ball right at him the whole game, there's really not much they can do because the Packers' offensive line is significantly better run blocking than pass blocking. So definitely think you lean on your strengths here and just I would even go up to like 25. Like I think that he's like one of the few running backs you can see doing that. I'm looking at it right now. If I wanted to look at rush attempts at 24 is 450. So like that definitely kind of feels like a spot that I would want to go to. I don't think Emmanuel Wilson's going to be too heavily involved in this one.
Yeah, and so I even put together a little Genty and Jacobs 100 each at 1050 right there. I don't mind that. It's a nice little long shot. Honestly, I think it's going to be a good week for a couple of running backs. Like Taylor has a real nice game script against like the Cardinals. He'll probably go for 100. I think honestly my boy Dobbins might put up 100 against the Jets. Like just some good running back slates. And I agree, Jacobs has just shown he can carry that heavy load in the past, and I don't see why they wouldn't do that once again. They can just bully these guys on the ground. Like I would not be surprised if he has like 60 going into the half,
Yeah, and then you talk about obviously we're gonna have a double game when we get back, right, for Monday. Obviously your team action in that one. I still think I might have to bench Jaden Daniels again just until Terry McLaurin gets back, dude. He's just Dak is just playing on another planet, man. I might just roll with it until the wheels fall off and just keep Daniels there until McLaurin gets back because he's good in real life, but it's just not putting up fantasy performances, especially if they're just going to feed Bill or whatever his name is on the ground as well. So anything else from you, Sue, before we get out? Last thing here, random fantasy question. Watson on waivers thinks he's worth it. Dude, I tell you, I can't pick. I mean, if you need them for a 1 week thing for a bye guy or something, sure. But like, I watch almost every game, and I couldn't tell you who's going to go off in either game. And you can say, oh, this, slot that. LaFleur really don't give a shit, dude. LaFleur just kind of does his thing, and you can use the numbers and data all you want, but dude pretty much can just script anybody open, and it's just like. I mean, you can have craft games. You have, Reed games. Once Reed gets back, it's like, okay, well, then what? Then it's just a fucking cluster.
Yeah, and I think Golden probably just gets better and better as he learns the system as well. Just, yeah, good luck. That's such a shit show. I mean, I don't know. It's like if you really need help, I see the upside. But whenever I try to pick up a guy on waivers, I ask myself, is he going to be on waivers again later this season? And can't you just see a guy picking up Watson? He goes out there 1 for 60 and drops him again right after. Like, he's just like not a guy you need every week. So yeah, I don't think it's personally worth it. But I see the upside.
Yeah, like maybe if you're losing on a Monday night or something, you need like 30.
Yeah, exactly.
That. But Yeah, we got our plus money buy, our Bears guy in here. I think Washington is -4.5. So we should see. I mean,
surprising. I don't like that. I don't like that because everyone just counted out Washington in back-to-back weeks against the Falcons and the Chargers. Nobody picked them, and now we get to be 4-point favorites. What I would do, I would just skip it. I would just go to next week, and I would take the Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Commanders, because I think that should be like a pick 'em, honestly. So that's my take. But yeah, the Bears probably are on the right side at 4.5. Honestly, that's a lot of points, but your team's still going to get their ass kicked. We don't need a Hail Mary this year, boys.
Yeah, should be a good game. Should be a fun game. But yeah, we'll be able to talk to you guys a little bit longer on Monday about those. But I told you we'd find a way to make it work. We were able to make it work today. Don't know how, but we did. But yeah. So we'll be back Monday. Stu, anything else from you before we pop out on the Slate?
No, let's get on out of here. Leave a like if you haven't already. Comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday.
Awesome. Well, we got see you guys Monday. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully we're coming back with a couple winners here. So have a good one, guys, and best of luck this weekend.